Hello. I don't know how well that's going to show up, but beside the white tape that's over a very old hole, a very large piece of the ceiling is kind of hanging by a thread. It's like that part right there where it's lighter, where it looks lighter, is actually darker because that's it's like hanging cat a corner by two corners. I don't even know if that made any sense. But anyways, there's a hole in there. So that happened yesterday. I forgot the look how big my thumb is. I'm just like one of the guys that take a picture of their thumb. I forgot to unplug this speaker, which is on its way out, but I'm not going to buy a new one because saving money. But anyways, it was kind of funny because I had talked to, well, I hadn't mentioned this before, but when I talked to my psychiatric nurse, he accused my real estate agent guy of not being very good at his job. And me, kind of thrown in the middle, was like, well, I think he just has a lot on his plate, you know, just to say something that's kind of non committal, like neither good nor bad, and I don't want to tell the one guy what he said about the other guy, or the other guy what the one guy said about him, or do any of that kind of nonsense or whatever. But yeah, I don't know if I mentioned that before or not. That was actually kind of funny. Um, but anyways, I'm talking to the real estate agent guy, and he has to verify my treatment plan, which my treatment plan consists of talking to him occasionally on the phone or through a text message, and talking to the psychiatric nurse guy, whose name is Mark. So that I'm having this phone conversation with this guy, and I came to a decision. I'm like, well, the main reason I wanted to move out of here in a hurry is because of the psychotic, uh, pocket-sized maniac, bong water drinking crazy person that sits out on the porch all the time and is just unhinged. And he's really the main reason I want to move out of here. The second main reason is the landlord. The third main reason, well, you see that this place is, it's got cardboard up, that the landlord don't fix it up. Um, and the reason why you couldn't see that too clearly is because the overhead light doesn't work. The ceiling fan in the living room doesn't work. The light uh, attached to the ceiling fan doesn't work. The window doesn't stay open. The bathroom cabinet is collapsing and is all water rotten somehow. There's a lot of moisture in this place, but the wood's rotten. And there's probably some other things I'm missing, but isn't that enough? And and then you got other things like what I'm hearing now, which is Stampy. But the main reason why I wanted to move really was that crazy guy that hangs out on the porch all the time, because he's not avoidable. I can hide in this room and for the most part hide from Stampy. So I was telling the guy on the phone yesterday, like, okay, I'm just changing my whole mind about moving because I got physical problems and I can deal with them here. I don't have a primary caregiver. This place is actually livable because I don't have to deal with that maniac. And the other guy doesn't talk to me, and I don't talk to him, the guy in the wheelchair. Stampy is just loud and obnoxious and has a dog and stomps and confines me to my room, which I've become used to. And so I said, I figured out that, and this is something that's very hard to do if you're on Social Security and you get 12.48 a month, and I've only been getting 12.48 a month for not that long. Uh, but if I'm willing to stick it out another 4 months here, I can pay $1,700 in rent on the 1st of July, uh, and by the end of that 4 month period, I will have well over 10 grand saved up. Now, to be able to do that when you're on Social Security disability and you don't have anybody helping you, except for I do get the, the free food, which helps out quite a bit. And I usually get $16 in food stamps, but the COVID thing helped me out, though that didn't work out too good. We already covered that. There's a missing 200 in there. I had like a card with like $556 that I gave to somebody hoping to get $500 back, but so far I've gotten nothing back. But that's another story. Um, so I'm thinking, well, you know what? I can concentrate on other things and still live here if I don't have to worry about running into that maniac all the time, because that lady just goes out and walks her dog and comes back in. And plus, there's the issue of my cat. My cat is like missing fur. He's really showing his age. I don't know how much longer he's going to live. He may not live 4 months. It's kind of hard to say. He's got like a milky eye, but it might be like cataracts or something like that. He's lost some muscle mass. He used to be like a solid brick block of muscle, and his appetite is not good. And uh, I did find out that I got some misinformation about how his sister died, because I thought, well, if his sister died and they were from the same litter, then he's probably, you know, but she died by a death by misadventure. But I forget how it was, but it wasn't a natural death. Um, she didn't die of old age. So this cat might live past the 4 months. If it does, it does. But I not only will I have like $10,000 saved up, but I have buku football cards that 4 months, July, August, September. That's the third month. Football season starts. Browns get off to a good start. I dump my cards, and I can make $2,000, $3,000 off them. So, because I got experience doing that. It didn't work out last year because it just didn't work out last year. They got a horrible coach. But even with the worst coaching imaginable and the worst play calling imaginable, and their quarterback throwing 21 interceptions, they still won 6 games. That's how much talent is on that team. Now they cleaned house and they got a whole new thing. So I'm thinking, um, yeah, you know, and I'm looking at I'm studying on eBay what the cards that I do have are going for, and all signs point to, if they right now I could sell them and make 2 grand probably if I sold all of them. But um, if I wait and they get off to a good start, just dumping them. You know, I mean, I would like to be out of here, but there's the logistic problem of the cat being an outdoor cat, having to get acclimated to a new neighborhood. There's me needing a first floor apartment, but not wanting anybody over top of me, and not being able to be in a second floor apartment to make sure there's nobody over top of me. I found a few places like that because of the stairs and because of my issues with walking, and I really don't want to fall down several flights of stairs. I've never done that before. It'd be a new experience, but I'm really not into it. So, anyways, I'm talking to this guy. He's saying that I want to live here for another 4 months, and he's like, you can almost hear the relief in his voice. It's like I don't know what exactly he was doing, behind the scenes to help me. Maybe he's getting pressure from the Mark guy to help me to move or whatever. I don't know what the fuck is going on. But I could hear relief in his voice and stuff. But as soon, I swear to God, as soon as I get off the phone with him and say I'm going to live here for another 4 months, I start hearing water hit the ceiling, and I'm like, fuck, that. It's a lot of water, and I'm like, that seal from when I broke my toes when the plumber was in here, and they didn't replace her tub. They put a seal, some sealant down, and it's held for all this time. So I'm thinking, oh shit, I gotta have the landlord in here, you know. I've been thinking that I'm gonna move, so I'm literally like, I spill stuff in here, and I don't bother to try to clean it up. This place is a total nightmare, total disaster. I mean, if it's not something funky, I ain't bothering cleaning it up. If I spill my coffee, I ain't bothering cleaning it up. I ain't gonna be living here. I hate the landlord anyway. What the hell do I care? You know, and the way the living room is situated, it's just, you know, with everything piled in the corner and everything all boxed up. I don't want the landlord in here. So, you know, but I got to text him. So I text him. I'm like, water's coming through the ceiling, and um, you know, you need to. You may want to ask. Her name's Michelle. What exactly is going on up there? I said it's I jumped to the worst conclusion. I was like, it's probably the tub seal breaking from last October, because the leak occurred on Halloween, and then the plumbing guy and my toes getting broken was November 8th. It's so it's held for a long time, but we all, you know, everybody, including her, me, and the landlord and the plumber, been waiting for that seal to break. You know, so I thought yesterday was the day, but then, you know, I did hear like Rugrat running around up there. So what happened, I guess, was she was giving her granddaughter a bath, is what she told the landlord, and then she spilled a bunch of water, and it came down and it dislodged this thing, and it didn't come down, which is cool because, you know, once it dries out and I can get somebody in here, I can resituate it so it'll hold water again. But enough water came down, because this ceiling will hold a lot of water. You know, the only reason that there's a hole in it is because my dumbass didn't wait for it to dry out, and like I wanted to see what was leaking up there, and I poked the broom hole through it, and since it was wet, it poked the hole all the way through. That's where the white tape's at. But that board that's loose and just kind of hanging there, I'm not touching that for a couple of days until I'm sure it's dry. Because once they dry out, I'm pretty sure they'll be all right. But there is a bunch of like little pieces of gray. That stuff's hard to clean up too. But there's a little bunch of little gray pieces. It wasn't like that when I went to sleep, but the weight from it. Because I went to sleep like right after it happened, within an hour. I was dead tired, and the weight of it just gradually while I was sleeping did that. Now the other time that happened, when that one woman named Carrie was living above me, is why there's a cardboard thing there, because I was like half asleep and the whole panel just came down. And those panels they get waterlogged. I mean, and water is heavy, so it made a big crash and scared the living shit out of me. I was like half asleep. I was like, what? You know. So um, it's something to report. I took a walk yesterday, and I couldn't get moving today and do anything useful. I just wrote on the computer, and it really was a waste of time because I was censored. In other words, like, if people complain about you enough, I guess if there's enough complaints, or your comments are reported enough, they just wipe out all your work. So I'm putting all this thought into stuff that's getting wiped out and nobody is reading. So um, started to get really pissed about that, you know. And I couldn't figure out if the YouTube posters were doing it or the guy that was running the video was censoring me. But somebody was censoring me, and I'm like, what the fuck kind of Orwellian shit is this? I mean, what is this, North Korea with this censorship? You know, that stuff got censored too. So, you know, apparently I was just hated on site. It was on a site called 846, Dave Chappelle, about Dave Chappelle's latest Netflix venture. It was just actually it's a 27 minute. Um, I don't know if it's the whole concert or what it is, but anyways, he's talking about the George Floyd situation and the protests in the country and all that stuff. So yeah, I really wasted my time this morning because I don't mind sitting there like using my big bulging brains to like think things out and write. What I do mind is like people disagree with it, and instead of arguing with me, they just get enough people complain about it as offensive, and boom, it disappears. And that's also disrespectful to anybody that replies to me because if I'm the original poster and the one of those the thread that got deleted was 18 replies long, everybody else on that post is wiped out as well. So occasionally I would get in debates with a guy, and he would be the original poster, and those debates would be like 118 things long, and of course I would make them end up making someone look foolish, and the original poster would look, if he was the one I made look foolish, as the original poster you have the right to delete your comments, which means you delete all the comments below you. It doesn't matter if it's 2 comments or if it's 200 comments, they're all gone. So you're silencing all them voices. It's like yeah, okay, YouTube is not a free country. Can't say what you want. Another thing that happened yesterday is my cop buddy called me. His elderly mom was in the hospital. He's not allowed to actually go into the hospital, so he was sitting outside waiting on her because she's getting discharged, and she had like a bladder infection and some other problems. But she's elderly and she got the dementia stuff going on, and so I talked to him for a while, and he was like, I don't know, they won't let me go in the hospital. I was like, he was like, I just would go in the hospital and collect her myself, but they have an armed guard outside the hospital, not letting anybody in the hospital. So and I said, you got a number you can call? And he goes, yeah, I got like a number, but I don't know. He's like, I gotta do something. He finally got antsy after almost an hour. He's like, I gotta do something. He's like, I'm like, good, because you're using up. I'm thinking to myself, good, because you're using up the limited minutes I have on this phone, but I didn't have the heart to tell him, like, can I hang up on you and switch to my phone with the free minutes? Because I waited too long into the conversation, and he's clearly distressed. He's picking up his mom at the hospital, and, it's nothing worse than, like, having your elderly parent decline and having to take care of them. And I guess she took another fall unrelated to this hospital visit. But I was talking to him on the phone, and like he was like, "I gotta go. My mom's in the yard." You know, I believe I told that story before, where she fell and they tell her to call the neighbors when she falls, but she couldn't get up to reach the phone, so she was going to crawl to the neighbor's house. So she crawled out on the lawn. So, you know, I was like, minutes or no minutes, I'm not slowing this guy's roll. This is my buddy. It's one of the few people that's actually nice to me. It's like he can use up these minutes on his phone. In fact, I need that phone because my food service and a few other people have that number, and I got very few minutes left on it. I got 96 minutes left on it now, and I don't want to buy new minutes for it because it's expensive. I would rather use the phone for free for obvious reasons. But anyways, shame on me for being lazy this morning and wasting my time writing and getting my comments deleted. I suppose I should try to do some housework in here if I'm gonna, be living here for those 4 months. But I paid 425 rent here, and if it was real quiet yesterday before the incident with the ceiling and the and all you could hear is like occasionally you'd hear a rugrat running around. But if I got the fan on and I'm in the bedroom, the stamping really has to be pronounced for me to hear. So I was like, man, earlier in the day, I was like, man, it's so beautifully quiet. I can't believe it. It's almost like, nobody's up there. Then later on the day, like a bunch of water's coming through my ceiling, and particles of the ceiling are falling onto the floor while I'm asleep. And that panel was like, it looks like if I bumped it, it would fall. It's still like discolored, so it's still actually wet from yesterday. It's like it's like yay thick, you know. So it holds water really good. Uh, so I'm gonna try to, you know, I don't want to have any dealings with the landlord about replacing shit or whatever, unless I put him in escrow, which I'm not gonna do. It's just more like I've covered. It's just more hassle for me. And plus, I want to keep that rent at 425. I don't want to even, fuck around with escrow because say I put him in escrow at 425 a month, he gets the shit fixed in a month, and then suddenly the rent's $500, which he'd be in his right within his rights to do. You know, so the only like saving grace of this motherfucker is that he's kept my rent at 425 for 10 years. You know, and like you can't get an efficiency apartment for that. Now, granted, I can't use the space out there that and I have to live in this room. But uh, yeah, I mean, you can't live cheaper than when I'm living here, and I can concentrate on other things. You know, it's the solitude gets to me after a while, and it's like I'd like to get my brother over here to kind of like pay him some money to help me to do some of the things that I can't physically do. Last time I did that, I got bed bugs, and I don't know if it was from him or from the lady upstairs, because the lady upstairs had them too. And I don't know if she got them from me, who got them from my brother, who got them from my brother-in-law, or my brother-in-law gave them to me directly. I just know that there's was bed bugs at my brother-in-law's house. So Occam's razor would tell you that that's where they came from, not from upstairs. But they also had, like I said, they also had a lot of people up there at the time, and then they got in trouble for using too much water, which alerted the landlord. And I think I was still on peaceful terms with the landlord, so I was like, I don't know how many people are living up there. I said, but I keep hearing the number 8. And I said, it can't be a coincidence that I'm asking around and 3 different people are telling me the same number. It's like 8 people in a one-bedroom apartment, maybe like the food supply got lean when she booted everyone out. So it was either 8 or 6. You have to excuse my memory, but I did like the neighbor lady, the psycho, and one other person I can't call to mind. All said the same number, and it's a one-bedroom apartment, and it was at least 6 people living up there, and you could hear that it was at least 6 people living up there. So maybe the bed bugs migrated down here after the all that food left. You know, I doubt it. I, these guys are liars, but the exterminator said that I had the worst case of it by far over top of the upstairs people. So it's likely that they migrated to the upstairs from here, and that it's just like I said, Occam's razor. The simplest explanation is usually the best, and so I really don't want my brother in here to help me. But I would like to throw out the couch. I'd actually like to clear out the whole fucking living room to where it's empty. Like throw everything out, like the dresser, uh, the treadmill, the couch, the end table, just everything I can. Throw it out and just leave the living room empty. That's what I would like to do. Um, the that one couch will weighs like at least 250 pounds, so I really can't ask anybody to throw that out, but I could probably stand that up, have them stand it up on end, And then as far as like chairs for when somebody has to come here, I can just buy like $10 dollar store folding chairs for us to sit in. Which yeah, I would just like to have that whole space cleared out there. Um, but yeah, that's the decision I made. I mean, it may be a bad decision, it may not. But how often does somebody on Social Security um, get the bank in excess of 10 grand? And you got to remember, I started in September with nothing. I mean, I was borrowing money and throwing it in the bank to keep from overdrafting. So, this hasn't even been like a full year of me saving. Um, but yeah, um, I mean, I don't know if I can live with that decision or not. But even if things get bad around here, or the guy comes back, or this place just turns into a madhouse, then I can just start searching for apartments again. But the cat is the albatross around my neck. I mean, that's why I want. It's one of the main reasons why I wanted to move into my brother's house, which is of course my folks' old house, which is a 3 bedroom house in the suburbs. Is so I could get him acclimated to that neighborhood and get shit of him because um, he don't really like people. He barely likes me, so he's real skittish around me, which I don't blame him. I'm wobbly. I'm subject to fall. So, anyways, another thing I had to do is I had to totally reset this computer and wipe out all the files on it. Because it just wasn't working right, and it was making me nervous. And I was like, it's working so slow. It's like, you know, I don't want to buy a new computer. I'll just wipe out everything on it. Just wipe the computer and reset it completely, which has been a bit of a hassle. But you know, I I just used a Google account, and it puts all your bookmarks in there, and all your email and everything. Which Google apparently has a lot of power. So, anyways, that's what's going on with me. I'm a lazy son of a bitch today with his ceiling falling in, and I made a decision in this past week that I'm going to plunk down $1,700 on the first of the month, and like I said, man, in 4 months I'll have, I mean, 10,000 easy, in excess of 10,000, and that's before I start selling off stuff. So I just kind of view it as an opportunity, and it's not good for my sanity living here, of course, but I can handle it. I grew up in worse situations, and I can change my mind about it, and you know, if I have to midstream and eat the money, and it's all good. It's been, like I said, with that guy gone, I don't know what the situation is. I knew that he signed a year lease uh, back in, I believe, May of last year. So I know his year lease is up. I did not, me and the landlord don't talk. So, when I go to pay him the rent, I'll ask him. Last time I asked him if Chris is still living here, he said he's still paying rent here, but he's never around. So, that makes a huge difference when you don't have a psychotic, uh, drug using drunk around that likes to hang out on the porch. It makes a big difference. So, this place is actually doable like it is now. I just have to put up with Stampy and put up with living in a room like this, you know, and I can do that and bank all that money. And you know that's just it's just funny that I made that decision and then my ceiling almost falls in. Like right after I tell that guy that, well, this is what I'm going to do, man. I don't know what kind of effort he was even putting into looking or helping me, or like you know like I said, the guy don't remember the things that I say one day to the next. So whatever, you know. So, uh, anyways, I guess that's about it. And yeah, I'll see you in a couple days if you know if anything else catastrophic happens. But that's actually a relief when the landlord texted me back and said that she spilled a bunch of water, because that's happened before where somebody spilled a bunch of water. As a matter of fact, when the hood people were living up there, I confronted this 300-pound dude about water coming through my ceiling, and he was very reasonable about it. You know, that's why I say like the 300-pound dude, and I'm talking a literal 300-pound dude. The dude's like this much. The dude's like this much taller than me, and I'm 6'1" and is huge. He's probably closer to 350, but he walks like a ballerina compared to her. Because people say heavy-footed, and it's like I think Cindy said, I hate heavy-footed people. This is an entirely different thing we're talking about here. This is uh, sauropod impact tremors. This is boom, boom, where it just reverberates the whole damn place. It's like nothing I've ever encountered before. And there was a lot of it this morning. But, anyways, I've covered all that stuff before. And, like I said, I'll see you when I see you. Looking a bit ragged. So, yeah, I should probably get up, move around, and do something. Um, Shave or do something. I don't know. Um, so until next time, anybody who okay, I totally stalled out there at the end and blew it. So goodbye.